Hey guys, I'm Al from GamesRip and I'm here with your weekly update, Retro Gaming Weekly, with a brand new update for all you guys. I said update far too many times there. Who gives a damn? Let's get on with the update. So we've got a brand new console coming out to battle against the Retron 5. What do you all think of the Retron 5? To be quite honest, I don't really like the Retron 5 and I think it's personally a little bit overpriced. I suppose it's great that it does encompass so many consoles into one unit itself, but the only problem I have with it really, big time, is the controller. The controller is terrible. Anyway, brand new from Asia, we have this brand new console and it is called the Retro Freak. Now this is coming out of Japan, I believe. They are beginning to ship the units now. As you can see on the video here, it's just someone playing with the actual thing and actually just taking a look at it. Personally, I think it looks a little bit cheap. Almost looks a little bit cheap, but the unit itself, what it can actually do, is pretty decent. Now it does all the same console games that the Retron 5 does, plus it also plays the TurboGrafx PC Engine 16 or whatever the hell it's called. It will now allow that. It's got the card slot for that. As well as that, there's also an SD card slot. So for all of you people who cannot afford to get all of the games on cartridge, you can now play them on the TV, straight through the Retro Freak, by adding ROMs onto the SD card, plugging it into the console and going. Personally, I think that's kind of a bit of a cheat in a way. Why would you buy a brand new console that can play all these cartridges and then want to use ROMs? I don't really know, but I can kind of see there's a good point there. It's a good thing to have, even if it is just a little extra. The other great thing, obviously as I was complaining about the controller on the Retron 5, is you can use a DualShock 3 or the PS4 controller on this brand new console. That's amazing, because the PS4 controller is amazing, and I think that's great. Personally, okay, for classic games it's going to be a little bit strange, which, okay, this console is basically older games, but I don't know, I just like the PS4 controller. I like it a lot, and I think it will be great that you don't have to use a crappy aftermarket controller, which is basically what all of the ones on the Retron 5 are like, and I think it's great. Okay, so we've got a nice little update, well, not really much of an update, from the Retro VGS team. It's a little post they left on Facebook, and I'm going to read it from the book because I cannot remember it word for word. So what they've said is, just a short note, letting you all know we are still working on a playable prototype. So that's great, because obviously they didn't already have one when they started the Indiegogo campaign. So that's great, they're starting to work on a playable prototype. The great news is we are continuing to make great strides in engineering, and the eventual price down considerably so that it will be within reach of all of you. Well, that's that. That's literally what the post was. So they're just giving us an update to say it is still in progress, and they're not stopping. They're still steamrolling, full steam ahead, and I think that's great. Nice little message from the Retro VGS team, just to say, don't worry, we're still there. We're still thinking of you. And this console will actually come to fruition one day. So that's great. The Oliver Twins, so obviously going back to last week's piece of news about the new Dizzy game, Dizzy Wonderland, is they are now releasing a book. This is through Kickstarter, I believe. So basically talking about the history of the Oliver Twins, through to all the games they started on, through to all the Dizzy games and everything like that. There is one great perk with this. I believe it's already sold out though, so if you're only just getting this news, it does suck, but to be honest, I'm sure what I'm about to say will actually surface onto eBay at some point. You can get a physical copy of Dizzy Wonderland, so that's the game that they had just said, they were going to release as a ROM. They are now going to release as a physical copy to go along with the book. Now you do have to back it. I think it's $100 or $150. That's quite a hefty price, but that's that's a really good perk to get with a Kickstarter campaign, isn't it? A game that you couldn't ever get. Came out as a ROM last week, it's now physically available. This leads me to believe that if this does well, the physical cartridge itself will be available. That's kind of how I think it's going to go, but who knows, we'll find out in the future, I'm sure. And I just think this is great. I really like the Oliver Twins. I love the Dizzy games. I think they're pioneering for adventure games, platformer games. I loved them as a kid, and personally I think they should do a new one. Anyway, I've been out from Games Re-Up. That's all this week. It's a shame, isn't it? It's already over. Anyway, I'll see you all soon. Click on like and subscribe, tell a friend. I'll see you soon. Al signing out.